don't know his state of mind.
Did you know if he knew the score?
LeBron James was not making much effort to conceal his frustration. After Bronny was sharply yelled at from the sideline, reporters directed questions at LeBron immediately following the game, and his irritation was evident as he abruptly cut the interview short. Soon after, an older clip resurfaced and added new context, making everything unmistakably clear. What followed transformed this from a brief sideline incident into a full-scale Lakers storyline that demanded deeper examination. The sequence of events that went viral began on November 18, 2025, when the Los Angeles Lakers faced the Milwaukee Bucks at Fiserv Forum in Milwaukee. The Lakers walked away with a decisive 111-95 victory, fueled by strong contributions from several key players, including Luka Doncic, who played a major role in driving the team's offense. Despite the comfortable win, the game drew attention for a very different reason, as it highlighted the ongoing difficulties surrounding Bronny James' adjustment to the NBA rotation. At 21 years old and in his second season, Bronny James earned his second career start in this matchup. The decision came as part of the Lakers' broader effort to evaluate young talent and build roster depth while navigating injuries and lineup changes early in the 2025-2026 season. Head coach J.J. Redick, in his first year leading an NBA team, has been known for his analytical approach and strong emphasis on decisive shot selection, a philosophy shaped by his own playing career. Bronny's start was viewed internally as an opportunity for growth, but it quickly turned into a teaching moment that would dominate basketball discussions for weeks. Early in the first quarter, Bronny repeatedly found himself in advantageous positions along the perimeter. On two separate possessions, he received clean passes that set him up for wide-open three-point shots created through crisp ball movement and effective screens, including actions involving Doncic. Instead of pulling the trigger, Bronny hesitated and chose to pass the ball back out. The decision reinforced ongoing concerns about his confidence and willingness to assert himself during live NBA action. That hesitation disrupted the offensive rhythm and immediately drew visible frustration from both teammates and coaches. Luka Doncic was clearly caught on camera throwing his arms up in disbelief, a gesture that underscored his disappointment at the missed scoring opportunities. J.J. Redick's reaction was immediate and unfiltered. From the sideline, he unleashed a pointed, expletive-laced outburst directed at Bronny, a moment that was clearly picked up by the broadcast. Within hours, the clip spread rapidly across social media and sports networks, igniting debates about coaching methods and player development in today's NBA. The explicit language left little room for interpretation. It reflected Redick's intensity and his belief that Bronny's passivity had to be eliminated if he was going to survive at the professional level. After the second hesitation, Redick pulled Bronny from the game just 4 minutes into the first half, leaving him on the bench until the second half. By the end of the night, Bronny had logged roughly 10 minutes of action and attempted only 2 shots, a stat line that underscored the very issue the coach was addressing. This moment did not exist in isolation. It was part of a larger pattern that had followed Bronny throughout his brief NBA career. The Lakers had increased his playing time during the 2025-2026 season, with Bronny averaging approximately 12.7 minutes per game compared to just 6.7 minutes as a rookie. However, the production had not followed. He was shooting around 35% from the field and 33% from three-point range, numbers that were not improving at the pace the coaching staff wanted to see. The sideline outburst triggered immediate reactions across basketball media. Some analysts defended Redick's approach, framing it as necessary tough coaching meant to push a hesitant young player. Others questioned whether publicly calling out a struggling player could damage Bronny's already fragile confidence. YouTube channels, podcasts, and social media commentators wasted no time weighing in, with some critics going as far as declaring that Redick had finally reached his breaking point with Bronny. In the aftermath, Bronny handled the situation with notable maturity. In interviews following the game, he acknowledged that Redick was pushing him to be more aggressive and to take open shots without hesitation. He emphasized that his focus remained on daily improvement and admitted that when the ball finds him and he is open, he has to get a shot up. Just days later, Bronny was assigned to the South Bay Lakers in the G League. On November 22, 2025, he responded with one of his strongest performances, scoring 15 points on 5 of 10 shooting, along with 8 assists, 4 rebounds, and 3 steals in a 115-95 win over Santa Cruz Warriors. The performance reflected progress in exactly the areas Redick had targeted, namely assertiveness and efficiency. Still, the central question was not about how Bronny responded. The spotlight quickly shifted to LeBron James. His reaction, or more precisely his restraint, revealed a side of LeBron that many observers did not expect. Throughout the 2025-2026 season, LeBron had been asked repeatedly about Bronny's minutes, benchings, and development. His answers followed a consistent pattern, calm, supportive, and deliberately non-confrontational toward the coaching staff. After the Bucks game and the viral sideline clip, LeBron did not publicly criticize Redick. There were no cryptic social media posts, no leaked reports of behind-the-scenes confrontations. LeBron reiterated that he does not interfere with his son's coaches, stating that he avoids calling them and instead encourages them to coach his son without his involvement. He reaffirmed this position during a December 30th, 2025 discussion that circulated widely online, emphasizing a hands-off approach even as scrutiny intensified around Bronny's limited role. When asked directly about Bronny's progress, LeBron consistently highlighted growth rather than frustration. He described seeing tangible development, noting that Bronny was still young, still learning, and improving with every repetition. During a post-game session on November 19, 2025, the day after the Redick outburst, LeBron addressed the situation with a lighthearted tone. He laughed while discussing Bronny's performance, acknowledged the learning curve, and even invited Bronny to comment himself, creating a shared moment of laughter that diffused any tension and projected unity rather than discord. This response stood in contrast to LeBron's reputation. Over the years, he has been visibly animated when unhappy, arguing with referees, expressing frustration with teammates, and showing displeasure toward coaching decisions. Yet when his own son was publicly reprimanded by the head coach, LeBron offered no pushback. He did not defend Bronny publicly or criticize Redick's methods. He allowed the situation to play out as if it were routine business. That restraint continued even when Bronny played just 1 minute during the January 8, 2026 loss to the San Antonio Spurs, despite the team dealing with injuries that shortened the bench. There was no public reaction from LeBron, and insiders noted that LeBron himself was resting that game. Bronny later addressed speculation about his father's involvement, explaining in a July 3, 2025 interview that LeBron advises him to ignore outside noise and focus on his own path rather than worrying about trades or team decisions. According to Bronny, their private conversations revolve around resilience and mental strength, not rotations or confronting coaches. This suggests LeBron's public restraint is rooted in genuine philosophy rather than media strategy. LeBron has repeatedly expressed pride in how Bronny handles scrutiny, emphasizing that his son is carving out his own lane and facing pressures LeBron himself never dealt with at that age, especially in the era of social media. Some analysts expected LeBron to use his influence to demand more minutes for Bronny or to push back against public criticism, but he chose a different approach. He allowed his son to face the consequences of his on-court decisions and publicly supported the coaching staff's developmental plan. In a March 23, 2025 interview, LeBron framed Bronny's progress as a long-term journey, noting steady improvement since his return from a medical incident during his USC days. This patience becomes even more striking when placed against LeBron's long history with coaching decisions. Since arriving in Los Angeles in 2018, LeBron has been associated with multiple coaching changes, earning the label of Coach Killer from critics. Luke Walton, Frank Vogel, Darvin Ham, and now JJ Redick have all served as Lakers head coaches during his tenure, with each departure fueling speculation about LeBron's influence. Across his career, LeBron has played under a long list of coaches in Cleveland, Miami, and Los Angeles. While figures like Eric Spoelstra remain secure due to organizational authority, the perception in Los Angeles has been that LeBron's presence looms large over every decision. Walton was dismissed after missing the playoffs. Vogel was fired 2 years after winning a championship amid roster turmoil, and Ham was let go following playoff disappointment. Each move reignited debate over LeBron's role, even when reports suggested front office decisions were the primary drivers. When JJ Redick was hired in 2024, the scrutiny intensified because of his prior relationship with LeBron as a podcast co-host. Although LeBron publicly distanced himself from the hire and reporters stated he was not involved in the search, skepticism persisted. By January 2026, as the Lakers struggled defensively after LeBron's return from injury, speculation about Redick's job security resurfaced, fueled by commentary suggesting subtle critiques of effort that some interpreted as shots at LeBron himself. Despite this backdrop, Redick has defended LeBron publicly, and there have been no credible reports of LeBron pushing for another coaching change. The contrast between LeBron's historical influence and his current restraint regarding Bronny remains one of the most compelling elements of this situation.